Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities are available for today. In this video you'll see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in that then please stick around. So starting off on the daily chart, on the top is EU, on the bottom is DXY. Now yesterday we closed out bullish, and inversely on DXY we closed out bearish, of course, after a couple of days of what you could say deceleration, more like a liquidity grab, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. So after taking all this sell side liquidity and near enough filling that daily imbalance, we had a bullish day. So there's not too much to say about that. Obviously we have this high low here still with the SMC divergence, and prices had this bullish run. So maybe it will continue. What else do we have here? We have our previous daily highs and lows on both. Now the previous daily high has been swept on EU. So if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that that's just been swept this morning and overnight. Whereas on DXY, it's not. It's hard to see here on the daily, but it just closes before it. So that also shows some SMC divergence on the lower time frame for possibly a bearish DXY. So let's drop down to the 4 hour and see what that shows. So on the 4 hour, you can see we had this bullish run, some sort of minor pullback, possibly into the equilibrium here, near enough filling this 4 hour fair value gap. Now we have rejected that point. So at the moment, we are kind of heading towards the highs. We haven't yet, so it's not confirmed, but we closed above this previous high here. We mitigated some buy side liquidity from the highs and the weekly fair value gap. And well, after that pullback, we haven't made a new low, at least at this moment, and we've been bullish since yesterday. This is possibly a weak high or resting buy side liquidity above here that we may need to take. However, we have filled this 4 hour imbalance. So at the moment it is holding price. Price is being held there and looks like it's possibly going to have a bearish pullback or bearish continuation. Okay, so it's hard to say, again, like yesterday, which way the trend's going to go. We still have sell side liquidity POIs down in the discount of this possible new bullish leg. So price may still pull back to these areas, hold these lows, and then create this weak high. All right, so we can't confirm yet the direction, in my opinion, of the trend from this leg. And then inversely on DXY, of course, we had this bearish leg. We pulled back, filling the same 4 hour imbalance nearly all the way again. Price then has headed bearish. Now again, the last few hours, it looks like we may be having some sort of bullish push from here due to EU rejecting its confluence there. So we may want to fill these imbalances here, have a temporary pullback or continuation, we don't know. But we'll see what price does around these areas and then we'll know more, right? But it's something to be cautious about, like I said. So let's go to the 1 hour and see if that's any clearer. So on the 1 hour, it does look like we've got possibly a new internal bullish leg. However, as I said, we've come up into this 4 hour imbalance, which is where there was also a 1 hour order block POI. We have taken the buy side liquidity of the previous daily high, spiked into it. We did not take the sell side liquidity from the previous daily low on DXY. Thus we have divergence there. Price is at a point where if this is the new internal bullish leg, then we're in a premium. We're also in a premium of that previous leg anyway. We have discount POIs, arrays, whatever you want to call them. We have discount POIs here, which I've labeled as high time frame price draw. So yes, that might result after taking this buy side liquidity and mitigating these confluences in some sort of temporary pullback to this order block or imbalance if this is going to be a bullish leg, and we can continue from there down into this area and take these out as a weak high and a weak high here on the external leg. At the moment I don't know, I'm not certain for sure, but of course we have the same bearish leg on DXY internally. We may need to pull back into this imbalance or order block to continue going in that direction towards the previous weekly lows, previous weekly highs on EU, if the trend is now to be bullish on EU. There is some uncertainty here. Obviously we only was just shy of the previous daily low, so we may need some sell side liquidity before that real move. And again, once we go into the lower time frames, you'll see that we've swept Asia's low. So usually the cycle will be that most of the time we come and take Asia highs as well. So we may need some new buy side liquidity, or even to continue with this trend to go for this week high. So it's just things to be cautious about with shorting in this area. We have also mitigated now a 1 hour POI, even though it is in the premium. Price has mitigated this imbalance and POI, and you can see we are actually having a bullish reaction from it. So like yesterday, everything's a bit cautious. We are between POIs, not too sure on the trend direction because of the new legs we've possibly created. So I will be waiting for the lower time frame to give me that confidence, or to at least show some kind of direction. In saying that, let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities might be available for today. Here we are on the M15, and I will just straight away address this trade that I've drawn out. Now, I haven't entered this trade. However, it had some elements that looked good. Obviously, we had swept some internal liquidity for this leg to break down and caused a break of structure. We left behind an M15 order block here, which you can see with that square. So we had our breaker structure. We had a sweep of internal liquidity. In Asia, we had swept previous daily highs. And we've also got the higher time frame price draw down into the discount of the possible 1 hour leg. Now, if we go over to DXY, we have SMC divergence, which indicated DXY strength. We had the same 15-minute order block, and we had breaker structure. So in theory, you had probably enough confluences on side to take the trade. Now, the negatives were, obviously we've swept sell side liquidity from the bottom of Asia. We've also gone into a 1 hour POI, and the momentum of that pullback was quite strong. That isn't, the be all and end all, but there were some issues there. And obviously, again, it was my confidence with the cycle bias. We've taken Asia lows, so we may come and take Asia's high for buy side liquidity before we make a real move. And there was also confusion for me, at least, on the direction of the higher time frame. So I've let this one go, let this trade idea go. I'll be looking for a lower low, and to me that will kind of confirm this 1 hour POI is not going to get in the way, and that price wants to continue lower. So we have some real order flow, because this is the first breaker structure today. So I wouldn't say that's a confirmed change of order flow, but it's possible, right? So this is the first entry. If we get a new lower low, and then on the 5 or 15 minute we can get an entry there, and it looks that price is going to continue in this direction towards the high time frame price draw, then I'd possibly be involved. So yeah, this is that opportunity. Price pulled back. We had our sweep of buy side liquidity, breaker structure. We were mirrored on DXY, so it's not a bad thing. The trade's possibly going to play out. Can't really tell at this moment, but it does look good, at least, temporarily until these lows. So yeah, may missed out on that opportunity, but there should be more to come. So like I said, what I want to see next now, I want to see price leave this area, create some more order flow, break in this low as a breaker structure. If it leaves this sell side liquidity here, then fine, but we break this low, pull back to a POI left behind, maybe this order block here, if this stays, and we can continue lower towards that lower time frame price draw. So if I annotate this, we'll have that breaker structure again there. We will have our inducement here from some sort of pullback. We will have a order block here, and then we can set our order with our stop loss just above the highs for maybe 6 pips, and we can aim for the high time frame price draw. Usually I aim for 3%. So that's how that trade will look. It'll be an order flow trade at this point, unless price does something and sweeps its own internal buy side liquidity. We'll have multiple breaker structures, and we'll have had, previous daily highs and high time frame confluences held, and we're going towards a discount, right? And we're trading from the premium. That is the opportunity that I will see coming next if we continue bearish. Now, for a bullish opportunity, I'm just going to draw out this 1 hour order block, for example. Go back down to the M15. Now, this is in a discount For longs, of course, we'd prefer to be in a discount, we'd prefer another POI, we'd prefer some sell side liquidity or something to be taken beforehand. So I would like price to come down into this area, hold, sweep its internal structure, so sweep that sell side liquidity, and we've got our POI. Then we break up, make a new high, break in this high here, break a structure, and then we get our pullback to a confluence area to trade higher with this possible leg and new trend. I'll annotate this one also. For an example, we've got our breaker structure internally, we've got our sweep of sell side liquidity, and then we've got our inducement possibly from the pullback. We'll have our order block or imbalance here to set our order from, and then the order would look something like this, right? We would have our stop loss below the low, and we would be aiming either back towards this previous high here for maybe 3%, or if you wanted to, you'd go for the structure. So for me, I would just aim for that 3% at that recent high, and that's what my order would look like for a long. The high probability longs would be down here. Of course, this long could also happen down here if we sweep the sell side liquidity and show structure and break, so it wouldn't be too bad from there either. Price could continue from here, we could break upwards. I don't see the long as clearly if we was to break upwards here, but if we do break upwards, create a new structure, and price was to come down correctively back to this area, then we could long to the previous weekly high. Why? Because if we break this high here, respect this 1 hour order block, break this high, it would look like this previous weekly high would be the week high, so it'd be a good target. So it wouldn't be too bad, there wouldn't be much resistance in the way, but we would have to have the good pullback for this trade to go long from this area. I hope you gained value from that. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, let me know. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.